I was really unsure what I was going to do, actually. From that moment on, I was just like, decided I wanted to be a filmmaker.
Any advice you'd give to anyone who's coming into this industry?
Do something else. No, if you're passionate about it, go all out. I'm an artist making films about art and artists. I have the body of work that I'm really proud of and that I really feel confident about and can really shop with confidence.
I want to start from, let's move back to, Khamisi, and what piqued your curiosity to get into like the film industry?
Oh, wow.
Where did it all start from? Like the curious part, of like, I want to be a filmmaker, or, I want to get into this.
Yeah. So when I was in the 7th grade, I was writing short stories and I thought I wanted to be a writer. And it was English class and we were, tasked with writing short stories. And the first short story I wrote for that class, it won kind of an award. So our English teacher, did this kind of a competition, and she gave all of our short stories to a cohort of people she knew, and they picked mine. They thought it was the best. It was like a werewolf story, and it had twists and turns, and there was a sheriff involved. The sheriff ended up being the werewolf, and it was so I started writing, and then I was like, man, writing is so. There's not enough adventure in it. I'm not moving my body. There's not enough, action. And I was like, I wonder about film. I wonder what it would be like to be a filmmaker. And from that moment on, I was just like, decided I wanted to be a filmmaker. And I started looking at movies differently. I would like Raiders of the Lost Ark, for instance. I remember the first time after I decided to be a filmmaker, I remember the first time I watched that movie. I just looked at it completely differently. I was like, I wonder how they did that. I wonder how they did this. So yeah, that's pretty much, how it started.
Wow. Yeah. And what, okay, so you're curious now. You're like, okay, I'm going to watch this and see what the process is. What is your first project that you're like, okay, this is going to be my first deep dive, or how did that come about? Into now the filmmaking. Now you're studying it. You're like, okay, I'm gonna study films. I'm gonna do this. Like, what is the first project that you're like, okay?
Let me see. I did a couple of projects in high school. And I never really finished them. I got a video camera. My parents got me a video camera, and I was filming some stuff and never really got to the point where I was really editing anything together. But I got the opportunity to sort of like film stuff and work with people who were like in front of the camera.
Yeah.
So I would say probably the first project I really directed was right after film school. So right after film school, I moved back here to the Bay Area for about 9 months. And in that 9 months, I shot a short film. And I think that was the first time I saw a project all the way through to the end. My dad was in it. It was about like a struggling artist who had to overcome trials and tribulations, and my dad actually played this landlord who came to collect the rent. It was like knocking on the door and asking for rent, and so that was probably the first one, and that we shot that on 16mm film.
Oh wow!
And that film is in a box in my basement still. So at some point I'll revisit that, digitize it, and I don't know,
or just watch it. But you finished it completely.
Yeah. Finished it completely and had like a.
Did you have a watch party?
Never had a watch party or anything like that I remember. I mean, this was a long time. I think I was maybe 19 years old.
Nice.
19,
and where
20.
were we when the curiosity pick just get origin? Is this in the Bay, or is this where did it all where do you start your journey?
In terms of that film,
Yeah,
yeah. Well, we shot that film here in the Bay
in the
Area.
Bay.
Yeah.
But where did you move from? Were you New York or?
So I grew up in Oakland. And after high school, when I graduated from high school, I was really unsure what I was going to do actually. And my mother showed me an advertisement from Vancouver Film School. So I was like, "Oh wow, that looks cool."
Yeah.
So I applied. I got in. So I went to Vancouver Film School, and it was like a trade school. So I got like an AA
Yeah,
equivalent
yeah.
of associate's degree. So yeah, I lived in Vancouver. That's where I went to film school. That's where I worked on my first project, like outside of school. It was like a low budget music video, and we shot it in my neighborhood, Stanley Park, in Stanley Park, which is sort of like Central Park or like Golden Gate Park
Yeah.
in Vancouver.
Okay.
Uh, so yeah, yeah,
Wait, so you're born and raised in the Bay?
yeah. I was born and raised in Oakland.
In Oakland?
Yeah,
Okay, Oakland native. All right.
yeah,
Okay, so you've seen the whole growth and everything.
yeah,
I guess the Bay's coming. It's at the top right now.
yeah, yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, the Bay has changed a whole lot over the years. You know,
There's
it's
a lot of
been
creative that comes out of
yeah,
just the Bay.
definitely, definitely a lot of amazing artists over the years. Um, yeah, yeah. The Bay Area and Oakland is, you know, I have obviously I'm from here, has had a huge influence, a huge impact on just how I feel about uh, my art,
Yes.
politics.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like you know, I've been all over the world essentially, and you know, there's always some Oakland somewhere in me, you know, as I'm
True.
like traveling and like I know that, you know, you know, it's part of my perspective as I you know move through the world. So
That's amazing. So
yeah.
you do your first film, finish it, 16 millimeter film,
Yeah.
and then what next now? You're like, okay, I'm done with this. Are you still exploring that as a craft? Or what is the next phase for you?
So
Go to Vancouver, make
yeah.
your
Well, yeah. That was right after. So the short film I did was right after Vancouver. So I was back home. So I started working here in the Bay Area
Mhm.
in the industry as a as a an electric grip electric in the grip
Yeah.
electric department. Um, I think I may have PA'd actually one or two jobs. Um, so yeah, so I started working in the Bay Area in the grip electric department. I met a few people at Arthur Fryer. There's a grip
Yes.
electric legendary grip electric house,
Yes. Yes.
and so I met some people over there and just started working locally as a crew member for a couple of months, maybe another 4 months or 6 months or something. And then I moved to New York, and I spent the rest of the '90s in New York, and um, that's where I really started my career, essentially. Yeah,
What led to the move to New York? Was
I
there
just
like a
wanted
film
to.
curiosity, or was it just like change of environment?
Yeah, it was a couple of things. I really wanted to get out of Oakland and
Okay.
out of California, and you know, I've always loved to travel. I've been traveling a lot since I was young. And I wanted to change. And I also knew that New York was a major hub for film and
Yes.
television
Yeah.
and all, along with LA. So, and I had a friend that was going to NYU who was in
Mm-hmm.
film school at NYU.
Yeah.
We were friends and high school friends from here.
Yeah.
And I had another friend who was going to school in New York also. He was going to Sarah Lawrence. So I had some folks there. So yeah, I went to visit them, then came back to California, and then I eventually moved out there, and yeah, it was. I mean, that's where essentially I started my career again. It's grip electric department. Met some
Yeah.
amazing people out there
Yes.
who really helped me to get into the industry and really looked out for me and hired me and showed me things and introduced me to people and
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, I spent the rest of the '90s in
What's the biggest
Brooklyn.
advice or like takeaway for anyone who moves to a new city and wants to at least work and
Yeah.
explore like opportunities? Like what lesson or what tools did you learn and you're like, this is the
Uh,
best way someone, if you go to a new city, you'd use this,
yeah,
be
that's
able
a
to build
great
community.
question. You know, that was such a long time ago for me, but I would say be passionate,
Hmm.
be diligent, um, study,
Yeah.
be willing to go out and meet people,
Yeah.
um, and just show up. I mean, like, if we're talking about specifically about being on set or what have you, um, show up and do your do
You,
your best, pay attention,
yes. Be present,
be present.
right?
Yeah, yeah, all of that. I mean, kind of old school, stuff people tell you about kind of any profession,
Yep.
you know. But I think people recognized in me as a 19 or 20-year old that I was about it,
Mm.
and I was
Mm.
willing to like go the extra mile to you know, run that cable, get that
Get,
flag or set that light or
yes,
whatever,
yes,
you know.
yes.
Yeah.
New York has its own. I always feel like New York has defined its own style. Like
Mhm.
it has its own hunger, and like the filmmakers over there are amazing.
Mhm.
Um, like for you as a director, like what was the growth that you saw being there, or what do you still use? And the reason why I'm asking this is, you're a dope ass director.
Yeah. Thank you.
And understanding New York is always like most of the stories is people driven and how the narrative, like there's always like doc style into how stories are. Um, but that's my observation. But I'd
Mhm.
like to hear from you, like you being in New York versus, just and then coming back here. What was something that you took out of there or learned and you're like, okay, this is part of my style now, or
Mhm.
this is a way I like to see things and I'm incorporating into how I direct or how I work.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, good question. Well, New York is, I mean, New York is a lot of things. It's just it's a melting pot
Mm-hmm.
of people and cultures and so that definitely has an influence on one and me when you think about narrative and how you and who you encounter and how you build out story and just understanding and meeting people from all different walks of life and um so yeah, there's something to be said about the whole New York story, sort of thing you always hear. So that's one part. uh the other part is a little bit of cliche also, but it's like the hustle that you have to be able to survive in New York
Yeah.
is like it's like for real. Like the weather is kind of harsh. It's kind of it's beautiful, but it's also very like urban. There's buildings, there's concrete,
Yeah.
there's it's you gotta be about it to make it there.
Yes.
Um, and people are really doing their own thing. I mean, if you engage with somebody,
Hmm.
they're in my experience, people are willing to talk and be friendly and all that, but people are about it, about their business and about getting things done. So that really permeates and really rubbed off on me in terms of all those things, in terms of hustle, in terms of just doing what you have to do to make it, and just being around all kinds of different people, influences how you tell stories, and
Yeah.
so
That's a very
yeah,
interesting way to look at it because there's a different people from different walks of life in that place too.
yeah, yeah,
But
for
also
real.
it moves fast, man.
Yeah, yeah. I love New York. I really do. I couldn't live there now, but yeah, I couldn't live there. Our daughter lives in Queens, and she's living her best life and doing her thing, and it's good for her at her age and what she's into. And
Yeah.
but I couldn't do it right now. I love going to visit. I love making movies there, and going to film stuff, and
Yeah.
yeah. So
Is there a piece that you did over there that you still carry with you? out of New York? Any memorable piece?
I mean, yeah, I mean, lots of them. I mean, early on in my career, I worked on a ton of music videos, and I mean, there's a million and one stories I could tell about music video, the music video world, the hip hop world in the '90s, and all those videos.
Yeah.
You know, all the like independent films I worked on.
Yeah.
I had some friends who were finishing up in film school, so we worked on a lot of their projects. You know, those guys are great. I'm still in touch with them, and just that energy at the time and their creativity. And I was shooting some of their films and helping them get their projects done. That was a great time. And at the same time, we were all working in the industry on various projects and coming up through the ranks and all that. So yeah, so there was that kind of that era. And then, you know, flash forward to closer to now is like, you know, I'm making my own films and kind of going back to New York to do that kind of thing is like it's a whole different
perspective
thing.
now that you bring
Yeah,
it
a whole
back in.
different perspective.
Yeah.
And yeah, and again, it's
So what
provides the
led
same kind of inspiration as it always has.
you finish school? You're like I'm move. You've finished your time there. What led? Was there any like shift of saying, okay, now I need to look back home or look back in Oakland? Or
Yeah.
what is the drive?
I think moving back to Oakland was a lifestyle choice. You know, for as great as New York is, and as much as fun as I was having, and it's just it's tough living. You know, it's tough living, and like, you know, we had our first kid in New York.
Okay.
My parenting partner and I had our first kid in New York, and you know, by the time he was 3, it was just like, oh God, you know, California is just easier, and you know, I can make it happen there.
Yeah.
You know, I can make it happen in the Bay Area now that I have a bunch of contacts and all that stuff. I can go to
Yeah.
LA. And yeah, so yeah, long story short, it was more of a lifestyle choice. Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah.
And then you come back at it, the hustle.
Yeah. Came back came back here in 2000 or so, and then I was going back and forth to LA, doing the same kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of music videos. Yeah, a lot of music videos, a lot of sort of TV shows. I worked on a few TV shows. Then I was also working here. I was actually working with Local 16 for a little while.
Okay.
So I did that for a couple of years as I was continuing to, travel to LA and travel all over the place. Going to Atlanta a lot. I started working on a lot of reality shows.
Oh wow.
Shooting a lot of reality shows as a DP and as a camera operator.
Yeah.
So that was yeah, I don't know if it was fun. It took me a lot of places. I got to travel a lot.
But it was fun.
Some of them were all right, but a lot of them were for babies need diapers kind of deal. So I needed to make money.
Oh
yeah, I needed to make money.
I like that. I was just doing it for babies need diapers.
Yeah,
I thought it was a diaper commercial.
Yeah. I would have done that too.
It's one of those jokes of like in production when people ask you, it's like, what are you guys doing? Like if you don't want to answer anything, the crew would be like, yeah, we're making a diaper commercial.
Yeah,
it's a good way to just be like, mayonnaise commercial. Just go away, man. We don't have any answers, or we can't answer what we're making in there because we're not allowed to.
Yeah.
But like, how would you, people come through to get to where they are through different avenues. That's why I think I like the whole idea of filmmaking, right? Like to where you are right now as a director, did you come through a linear, like was it lighting or any of those, or you moved around and just figured out, okay, this is where I want to be, or did you know that you wanted to end up being a director from the, from the beginning?
I wanted to be a director from the beginning.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah. Like way back the story I told about being like writing in seventh grade and
Yes,
all that.
yes, yes.
I really pictured myself as a director. And I got really into, different directors and studying different directors' work. I mean, Spike Lee was a huge
Yeah.
influence. That's that I should probably could have led with that actually, but Spike Lee has been a yeah, he was
He
a
didn't make you
huge.
move to New York. He wasn't the reason why you
I mean,
moved
he
out
was.
there.
I mean, part of it, yeah, part of it was like I'm moving somewhere where some of my heroes have made
Mm,
films. I mean, Spike Lee, Scorsese. I mean, all these cats.
yeah.
Um,
You have Taxi coming out, and you're like, man, I swear, you want
yeah,
to make a film?
yeah. I can make my own version of Taxi Driver at some point. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Uh, so um, so yeah, I oh so yeah, so I thought maybe I mean I thought I was going to be a director. I thought that was a path I wanted to take. And then in film
You
school,
thought, but you ended up being one. But let's continue.
yeah, yeah, in film school, I ended up actually being really good at photography, at cinematography, and I
Mm,
was already really into cameras and shooting stills. My mother gave me a
yes.
still camera when I was in high school, and I was taking
Yes.
a lot of stills and really understood sort of photography. I understood how it worked, and aperture, all the things. So I did really well in film school in the cinematography classes and stuff like that. So when I got out of film school, I needed to make money. So I was like, oh, well, let me get into the grip electric department. And I'd
Yes.
also done one or two projects outside of film school in Vancouver in the grip electric department. Um, so that was just a natural progression for me to get into the business through that department.
Through the
Um,
grip and electric.
yeah, through G&E. And yeah, so I really worked my way up through that funnel. I started third, fourth electric, best electric, gaffer, and then started shooting
Yeah.
as a DP. Uh, yeah, so that was the bread and butter for many many years.
I kind of
Uh,
like that journey though.
yeah,
It's like walking your way up
yeah,
because you kind of learn a lot of those and you understand each department really well.
mm,
So it becomes like an easier way to communicate.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
m-
absolutely, a
Mine
thousand
was through
percent.
camera.
Yeah,
So, I went assistant and then AC, work my way up and then to DP. To
yeah,
come up, then to DP.
yeah,
So I stayed on the camera side because I loved cameras. So it was like, that was easier.
yeah, yeah,
But always respected like people came through lighting, you know what I
yeah,
mean? Because it's like understanding the technical and how that looks like and how you can shape, the light.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah, no, it's both ways are great. Both ways are great. Coming up as an AC is awesome too. I can definitely see the value. You're around the camera.
that was the whole point, man. I love
You're
technology. I was like, I
yeah,
need to be next to this camera
yeah.
as much as I can just to figure out, the operation and
I
all
mean,
that.
even like I remember when I was coming up, when I was getting into shooting, I understood the mechanical parts
Yeah.
and I had patience for that.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Arri SR or whatever it is, old
Yeah.
school Super 16 camera, whatever.
Yes.
And I had the patience for that. But then when things started going into kind of this digital realm, I I found myself relying more and more on the AC to like figure out the menus, and I would tell this is what we're doing, set up the camera to do this, because I don't really naturally have the patience necessary to fool around with menus and all that crap.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Just not into it. I'm into composition, storytelling, lighting, that whole thing.
That's good.
So as an AC, it's like you're close to the camera,
But
especially now in this digital world. You're close to the camera.
yes.
You're very familiar with the menus and know how to set up stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah, both ways are
I think because
have
yeah,
value.
it's like as the role of let's say DP, there's a lot on that one set
Hmm.
that the time to be messing around with the menus instead of talking to your gaffer or like just
Yeah,
you have a director next to you asking A B C and D.
yeah.
It's like, am I gonna be looking at menus or am I gonna figure out okay what is the overall look and feel
Mhm.
that we designed and are we able to achieve that, right?
Yeah,
Is the gaffer has questions that he needs to give
yeah,
instructions to the rest of the team. So it's like,
yeah,
um,
100%.
but you came from film, you came from 16 millimeter. what was your first digital camera that you landed into?
Oh wow.
This is tape time, I'm assuming, right? You came into tape.
Yeah, it was tape for sure. It was a Sony 1000.
Okay.
What was it?
Was
Oh
this the
man.
XL or which one was it?
It was like it was a fixed lens
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Sony well, I don't remember the
Okay,
model number,
okay.
but
But it was a
it
tape.
was it was right when I feel like I was one of the first dudes to like use these adapters that allowed you to use manual lenses or film lenses. So that was
Oh,
my
I see where you
first,
at.
yeah.
Was it that the micro? Was it? It wasn't the Red Rock Micro, right? But it was.
No, no. I
Was
mean,
a
this
different
this
one.
was like this was literally like, I mean, I was still in New York when when I worked on my first
Uh
project.
huh.
It was
Uh huh.
called I think it was called Duck Duck Goose.
Duck, duck, goose.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and
Okay.
it was a wild ride. It was a wild film. My dude Gabriel Tolliver was the director, and he's a wild dude. But it was the setup was an adapter that fit over the lens of the fixed lens on the camera,
Okay.
and then on the other side you could attach film lenses.
Okay.
So we shot with Nikon still lenses that still had the click,
Oh,
the whole thing.
yeah.
So that was my first film.
Much light did you have to put? Because that's a lot of glass you're powering through, man. It's like
Yeah, it
so it gives you
wasn't
what? It gives you like
clean.
texture, like more of a film. What is the
Yeah,
value for that? Like you have the digital, of course, the fixed lens thing is not as good. But
yeah.
what you're adding in front of it, what are you getting? Is it like textures or
You
like
get you get the depth of field. You get the depth of field that it sort of mimics the depth of field of a film camera
yeah,
as
yeah.
best it could, being, I don't even know, the sensor was probably tiny, but you still had that sort of depth of field. You had that sort of soft palette of those lenses, the
Mm,
Nikon lenses, of film lenses.
yeah.
So so the video wasn't as sharp. It had just more film
More as
quality
a
to
film.
it.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
So,
yeah. I'll
hey.
get back to you on what camera it
Damn.
was. Yeah,
Okay, you were
yeah,
beginning right there.
yeah,
And then what
yeah.
is
This was like 99,
99?
98, 99. This was a long time ago. Yeah,
Which one? What size tapes were those? So this is the big ones, or
they were the
you started
little
the mini DV tapes?
mini DV
Mini
tapes.
DV tapes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Still have a box of those. I don't know what to
yeah,
do with that.
yeah, yeah.
Probably should revisit that.
Yeah, digitize them, or get them on a SSD drive or something.
Someone called me about digitizing those.
Yeah,
They're like, "Hey, do you still have a deck that I can be able to digitize these things?" I was like, "No." It's like
yeah.
I do not want to
You
invest
know
going
what?
back on that, man.
I think Judd has one.
He does.
Yeah, yeah,
He's that of a purist.
yeah, yeah. Well, we used to use them back in the day.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
I still have the tapes, but I got rid of the deck and everything.
yeah,
Got to a point where I was like, I don't.
never gonna use this again.
But there are people making, the interesting thing, there are organizations that are actually paying to do that.
No, yeah,
Um,
to shoot
no,
original stuff on that format,
no,
or to
we
digital.
got, was it last year? This company had a whole box of them. I didn't take it because I looked at the weight of the time that it's going to take. Of course, a deck is easy to get, but the amount of time you're going to sit through to digitize all these things,
Yeah.
put them on a drive, and then, just organizing them and doing all that stuff.
Yeah.
They were willing to pay, though. It was like,
Okay.
I think it was about $10,000 to do it.
Wow.
But you look at it, how much time you'd have to spend on these
Yeah.
things, and it's a whole. I was like, this is a one-to-one kind of thing,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah.
yes, you made it, but you're gonna just be sitting through in case there's errors,
Right.
and then you have to put them on a drive. You have to name the. I'm sure right now there are ways you can simplify that process.
Yeah, yeah.
of
Maybe you can get
getting-
AI to as it's digitizing, make sure there aren't any drop frames or whatever it is.
You
know?
remember the process was tedious. It's like
Yeah,
because it's like you finish shooting, you bring it in to start cutting,
Yeah.
and then you still have to go through. But yeah, no, it's but it was
Yeah.
fun, honestly. Like I think I came tail end of film. into like the digital world.
Mhm.
So into the tape world. So I
Yeah.
worked with tape. Actually got lucky because one of my first jobs were broadcasts, the big ass beta cams.
Yeah.
Man, I'm too small.
Yeah.
My shoulder was like, I'm like,
Yeah,
how are
those
people
cameras were
holding these
beasts.
things? I'm like, but at least now, if they had more of those bags, like you just put in,
Yeah.
So I
The
learned how to
sack.
lean onto things.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
sacks, the sacks bags, man, those would have been lifesavers. But you learn like find walls and things just to lean on and keep
Right.
holding this thing when
You
when
need a
you're
little
shooting.
support.
But
Did you work with what were some of the other video systems? After tape, it was like the P2, Panasonic P2.
so yeah, I worked with tape and then I moved to P2,
Yeah.
which was mostly the HVXs,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Panasonics.
Panasonics, yeah.
Yeah, so they are the
Shot a ton of stuff
HVX
on those.
200s.
Yeah.
And then that developed to HVX 100.
Yeah.
And I remember the first one, those cards were expensive.
Yeah. And they were like,
And those 16
huge.
gigs.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
Literally, those cards were like 16. Now you think about it, like a small card right now is 16.
Yeah.
And you can't even, some of the photo cameras that you take, you're filling up a 32 gig card really quick.
Yeah.
Our media went a long way.
Yeah.
And people still loved it and appreciate
Technology,
it.
everything. The cameras, lighting, everything is just
It's improved. But yeah, so when I was when you're talking about like the loop to build it, I think we had Panasonic, you could buy an off-market adapter to kind of get the depth of field and all that. So on, but you were like way back before I did.
It was like that system. It was essentially like that system. I mean, the one end fit over top of the fixed lens, and the other end you put your still lens or whatever photo lens you want to put
photo
on
lens.
there. So it was very much like that P2 adapter. Yeah,
it's funny how creatives just to get a pure image, because I made that whole rig like
I know, yeah, right.
It made it like 2 feet focus long. Was the most nightmare because you're going through a lot of glass and just like making sure you're sharp. You're like, are you sharp?
Yeah,
like pulling both and just aligning everything. Yeah. But no, the stuff that we made out of that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
The P2 era, we a couple of buddies of ours, because that's when 3D came out.
Okay.
So we worked on a 3D rig where we built a buddy of ours, Jason, had a machine in his house for milling. So he actually helped us like build a 3D rig that would show up. We thought 3D was going to be a big thing.
Right.
The amount of work we learned is like people don't want to wear headsets to do it.
Yeah, or glasses or all
glasses
that.
And all that. But it's a good experiment, like to see all that like tech come in. And I think as creatives, like being able to experiment and see where the technology is going.
Yeah.
So make it to DP, working on a lot of the projects that, was that here in LA, right?
Yeah, yes. And throughout the 2000s, yeah.
And then you ended up building out a shop, an outfit.
Yeah, so within that in that 2000s era, I think 2010 or 12, I started a company called One Bay Creative with my friend and business partner Judd Fleming, who you know.
Yeah.
So he was the editing side and kind of post-production. I was the production and side. So yeah, we made all kinds of stuff for clients and nonprofits and for-profit companies, and we made a lot of branded serialized content where we would take our clients' products or services and build out kind of like a show, a serialized show.
Yeah.
Sometimes it'd be like host driven, maybe, and a lot of that came from my time actually in working on reality TV shows.
Oh, nice.
And being influenced by sort of like Bourdain and his show structure. So we did that for a while until 2018 or 19, I think.
Oh,
yeah. So and then in all that time, I was also shooting as a DP on reality shows and other music videos, all kinds of stuff. So now One Bay Creative, One Bay Creative is still around.
Yeah.
I'm doing like smaller projects through that company.
Yeah.
So
appreciate all the fun work you bring to me.
Yeah.
I bring to us, the team over here.
Yeah.
So what it's always interesting. Like you've made it to DP, are working. What led you? Was it strategic to go into building a production company, or was this something that just like, hey, I'm here now. What does this look like? Was there a
Yeah.
thought process to that?
Um, well, I think it was. I think it was partly that I did want to direct. I did want to start directing and start
Yeah,
developing and start producing stuff. A little bit of it was also kind of entrepreneurial kind of spirit, having my own company and doing my own thing. And then the other part of it was financial. I may, stand to make better money, or at least be in charge of the money, at least
yeah,
be at the top of the totem pole in terms
true.
of where the money's going.
Yeah.
So I think it was all of those things. Yeah, yeah. And then, um,
What are the lessons that you'd share? Because a lot of, I think it's very interesting as much as like, you build on creative and you go and not, of course, not everyone goes that route, but like, what are your lessons or advice for, folks who are like, okay, now I'm here. This is the best direction to go. Because there are two routes to go there, right? You can either stay DP, get representation and build on that, or you can go the other route where you're like, okay, I now want to build a production company and all that. Like, to you, what would be the advice, or what would be the lessons and the key takeaways for anyone younger and looking and is at that position now or heading in that direction?
I think it depends on the individual. It depends on the individual. It depends on where your passions lie. It's like if you really are passionate about shooting,
Yeah,
then you should shoot absolutely everything, no matter what the pay is. Shoot as much as you can, and
it's
definitely go
true.
after the money. Definitely get
Yes.
paid for what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
But if there's an opportunity to shoot something that's really interesting to you and something that could further your career, but you're not really getting paid
Yeah.
a lot or whatever for it, I would say do it.
Do it. Do
Shoot
it.
it, do it. And then if you want to have a production company and you want to like service clients and that's your passion and you want to get into that, then yeah, do that. Find some like-minded people and partner up, or now it's a lot. It's a lot easier.
Yeah.
I should also say I think it depends on what your lifestyle is like. You know what I mean? Like if you need to make money because you have kids and all this other thing, that makes life, a lot harder.
Different. Yeah. Yeah.
If you're
It's a
20
different
years
conversation.
old and you still have a spot in the basement at your parents' house that you can crash on, then by all means, if you want to start a production company,
Do it.
go all out and do it.
Yeah.
So I think the situation changes a little if you have more life responsibilities, but yeah, I would say essentially follow your passion and if it's going to be a production company, I would really suggest that you and I had this conversation maybe a while back. Is like, having your own company is hard. It's extremely difficult,
Yeah.
and I think for One Bay Creative, it's like Judd and I are two creatives. We are,
that's
you know,
that's what we all
we're
going.
not
Yeah.
business people per
Yeah.
se,
Yeah.
and that's not certainly not where our passion lies. So, if you're going to start up a company, make sure that somebody is in charge of the business, client
Mm.
acquisition, everything from client acquisition to keeping up with clients, getting
Yes.
follow up work,
Yes.
accounting. I mean, all that stuff is going to be a huge part of whether or not you're successful. You
That's
know,
that's
yeah,
a lot of good advice there.
yeah,
Because I think creatives are creatives, and creatives, I think you tend to stay where you're comfortable,
hmm
right? Like it's a lot, but we all, as where you're comfortable is where you'll end up going or leaning towards when things are like where they're shaky. So you lean into
yeah,
that
yeah,
direction, like, I know this, so let's keep going with this.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
um, but leads me to the biggest part. I've seen your work. I've always followed you on like social, as you've been developing and all that, just being behind and catching up. I'm like, man, Khamisi is making amazing work out there. from the music videos you guys used to do and all the collaborations. Um, with Styles, you guys working together out there. I always see, you guys are my seniors out there. I'm saying, I'm like, damn, these guys are making some amazing work. To getting to the point now we're working together. So I think the world, keep seeing the people and keep asking and keep, getting closer and closer. So I'm always grateful, like, working together and also all the conversations that we have. You are at an interesting place right now, and just seeing all the amazing stuff that you're doing. I know there's more beyond the museum, but the museum stuff is amazing. And to that, it's like, how do you approach that? Like, what's your mindset of like, okay, this is one story. Okay, how do I flesh this out? Like, what's your workflow? What's your thought process?
Well, let's see. It's definitely evolved over the 4.5 years I've been at the museum. Fine Arts Museums of San Francisco. Shout out to the museums. It's a process. It starts off with talking with curators, talking with stakeholders, and understanding who the artist is, understanding what kind of art they make, everything from the materials they use to the process is kind of one whole aspect of it, and then studying and researching the artists themselves, where they're from, how they came to be, their life story, may or may not play a role in the film. So it's sort of like doing due diligence to study the artists themselves.
Yeah.
And sort of once I have all that sort of intel, I'll write a bunch of stuff. I'll write a bunch of stuff, just not random, but I'll start a document with all of my ideas. Get all of my ideas out in a document and try and organize them and try and think about what narratives I think resonate best, what narratives I'm most interested in. Is a good place to start, because I'm inspired to actually do the work when it's something that I'm interested in, quite frankly. And then, kind of making sure that I'm not the only one that's interested in that narrative or that storyline. Is certainly part of it. Referencing back to notes I've taken after talking with curators and other stakeholders, and sort of incorporating all that stuff into a doc, and then I'll write a treatment, do a couple iterations on a treatment, run that past like kind of like close stakeholders, like co-producer, counterpart, supervisor at the museum. It is great. Shout out to Megan. So
Shout out to Megan.
Run ideas past her, and then the treatment will kind of go out for broader approval and feedback from other stakeholders at the museum. And once that happens, the treatment is done, and if there's a living artist involved, then we'll run all this past the artist and the artist's camp and their people. So it's a process. It's a process.
The reason why, it's a very interesting approach, because that is a very interesting market. Like, you're making art for another, you're building on another artist's work. You know what I mean? And artists are kind of like ownership, and like, this is my work, this is my body of work and all that. But
that's a good point.
For you to come in and you're like, no, I'm telling your story as the artist. It's like, it's not, atypical of like, I just shot a corporate video of like a product or something. Like, this is someone's like whole life and everything they've put into, and then you're trusting another artist above you, which is you now, coming in and understanding this is what you're trying to, in a way you're translating that for an audience.
No, that's real. That's real. Yeah, for a living artist, definitely. I mean, I've worked on a few projects with living artists, and really making sure that they're okay with with how we're capturing their art story, their lives is huge. Especially if they're like a really successful artist and they have a lot of say and a lot of
They're in your museum, so most
yeah,
of them they worked
yeah,
their life to get to this, big
yeah,
this place, right?
yeah, absolutely,
It's a lot of trust
absolutely.
that they have in you over there.
And I lean into that for real. I mean, I feel like I'm an artist. I often say that I'm an artist making films about art and artists.
True. Yeah.
So I think perhaps that really resonates with living artists, because I found like there's some level of trust that happens at some point, and then the road is pretty smooth.
Hmm.
So
How do you like the stuff that you're doing right now as a director and where you are at? Like, this must have been a journey to get to this place, and it sounds like you have a toolkit that you pick from
yeah,
on like the processes, the treatment, and all that.
yeah.
Which out of all those, what is your most what's your most exciting part of this process?
Mm,
Like the one you're like, man, this is where I'm at. When I get here, I'm like, I'm running. I'm like, I'm
yeah.
good.
Oof. I find that all parts of the process are this is this is tough way to answer this question, but I find that all parts of the process are interesting in their own right.
Okay.
I find like the development process is great because it gives me the most freedom.
Okay.
The most freedom to create. I can have that blank piece of paper and I can write all kinds of wild shit.
Okay. And are
And
you
then
the matrix person who's like a whole board and you're just putting stickies everywhere, or is it a notebook based?
it's mostly Google Doc based.
Huh. Okay.
Then there's also some analog in there with some sticky notes, those yellow
Nice.
sticky note
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
So I have those like all over my computer, which is
I think I've
crazy.
seen a couple of them.
Yeah. So yeah.
What do you think is the value of doing something different on the other side of? I think I probably mentioned to you for some nonprofit, and we're kind of, it's more of a coursework of how to get to actually filming and what pre-production and prep looks like.
Mm.
Like, to anyone who's like, I want to be a director, where would you tell them to focus on at the beginning of their career?
Man, I would probably say editing.
Editing.
Yeah.
Because you have to understand, yeah.
Editing is a huge part. I mean, we were just talking about this, the parts of the process that
Yes.
I enjoy, and I think editing is a huge part of it. I mean, once you've shot the film, it's almost like you have this opportunity to start all over again.
Yes.
I mean, you have this, you have something, or at least, inshallah, you have something.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you have this opportunity to sort of craft it, in all these different ways. So as a director, I would say understand editing, understand that it, it's a process that's fairly magical, because you're not only you're stitching together perhaps your original story and all your original thoughts,
Yes.
but all kinds of new things are going to happen, all kinds of new things you're going to discover.
Yes.
And to really be open to that. Don't be hard pressed on what you've already shot and you think, oh, it's going to fit this way exactly, because it's really not. And then I would say along with the editing process is find a good editor. Like work with a good work. I mean, a good editor is gold.
That's true.
I mean, a good DP also gold,
but a good editor. Yeah. No. Funny you say editing, because I love directors who know how to edit.
Yeah.
Or have have the understanding of both backgrounds.
Yeah.
Um, and I
Definitely
think
helps with like not having 18-hour days. I
you
mean,
you
just from
you
a
you
practical
say, I didn't have
standpoint,
to say
you know what I
that's
mean?
the
It's
whole
like,
point.
dude,
It's
you're
like,
never gonna use this.
but
So
that's
why are we doing this?
it's the hardest thing, right? Like, because you don't want it to be coming. You don't want to cut the director short,
Mhm.
because it's also a relationship and you want them
Mhm.
to succeed. But you see it, like if the director also understands the editing,
Mhm.
they're seeing the point of, I don't need that because I can cut A, B, C, and D. And
Mhm.
sometimes, like in those cases with the AD, and the AD is like, we need to save time. A director who has cut and understands the cutting can be able to be like, okay, maybe we don't need the second shot that we're gonna get. Let's get a cutaway of this.
Mhm.
I can move from there to transition to my next shot.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Because in a way
Yeah,
you're cutting on set on
100%.
site. But if
100%.
you've never cut, you're like, no, 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 I need everything because I
Mhm.
don't know what I'm gonna use,
Yeah.
which 18-hour days end up coming from there.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's
100%.
always like something I always
100%.
appreciate. I'm like, okay, all right, you've cut. Okay, cool, cool.
Yeah.
That means we're gonna collaborate a little bit better than me saying, hey, let me give you a close up. You can use that. But going back to, your directorial work, and also you just cut a new reel, which is awesome.
Mm.
I've been seeing like everyone's like
Thank you.
loving it.
Yeah.
Um, is there a moment and timing as to why now for that?
Um, well, that's a good question. That's a good question. I think the main reason is that, I have the body of work that I'm, kind of put together over the past like 5 years or so that I'm really proud of and that I really feel confident about and, can really sort of like shop with confidence,
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm glad so many people have, on all the platforms I put it on, I've gotten a lot of really nice feedback.
A lot of love
So,
on
a
on the
lot of
work.
love. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, yeah, because I think a lot of artists' weaknesses is you keep creating, and assume people are seeing, but stopping and saying, "Now, watch. This is what I've been doing."
Yeah.
You know, or
Yeah.
you just keep running, and you're like, "Wait, wait, wait, I haven't had a chance to show this." Or
Yeah.
assuming everyone is already watching. You're
Yeah.
like, "No, no, no. I think they stop and saying, this is the work that I've done. This is where I'm at my journey.
Yeah.
Pay attention and see." Um, for you, what is the big picture for this?
Um. Uh. Yeah. I mean, I think for the foreseeable future, I'm happy making films at the museum.
Mm-hmm.
It's every film is different. Every film is a new challenge. Every film offers me the opportunity to create a new narrative, new story, meet new people, travel sometimes. It's great. So I think for the foreseeable future, it's making more museum stories, more museum films, and yeah. We'll see. I definitely want to do projects, outside of the museum.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll be cultivating that over time, and sort of seeing how all that pans out.
Yeah.
Uh, it's tough because time is a factor. It's like, how much time do I actually have to dedicate to um to projects?
Yeah. And the depth
So
of what you said, your research phrases, and
yeah,
the whole,
yeah, yeah,
it
yeah,
sounds like it's a lot of pressure just building this whole body of work.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. Sometimes definitely deadlines are a thing. I mean,
what's
for museum work, deadlines are a thing for sure.
what
Yeah.
is if you were to pick, let's say, a world, would it be documentaries, commercials, films? If
Yeah.
it was like, hey, can you see there's a project here? What would be the one that you're
Yeah.
like, hey man, this is what I want to do?
So that's another good question. I think right now, it would be Probably some kind of narrative piece.
Narrative. Okay.
Yeah,
Feature,
yeah.
short, or
I
everything leads to a feature. So a
Yeah,
feature film.
yeah, yeah. Either way, a short narrative or feature length narrative would be great too. I mean, I've spent the past like 4.5 years, producing and directing, short documentaries.
Yeah, yeah.
So having the chance to do something that's a narrative piece would be a different challenge. It would be fun, and I love movies. It would be great to work with actors. I work with talent a lot. Whether that
Yeah,
be
that's
like
true.
the people in my films,
Yes.
curators and
Yes.
experts in the field and things like that, and that's amazing. Those people are great in terms of like their passion for relaying uh, what they know about art and artists and all that. They're great. Some great storytellers there too. Um, but yeah, some kind of narrative piece would be amazing.
So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
do you have
have some
any?
all
Do you have
kinds
any
of.
scripts you're sitting on right now?
I don't, but I have some ideas that I'm sort of knocking around. I tried to write a script last year,
Uh-huh.
and I think I've got in kind of the note or kind of the script outline stage, and I got through the first act of the script outline stage, and then things just got crazy, and But I think it's a good story. If I had a second act and a third act, man, I'd be on my way, you know.
At least you started it. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, no, it's I love films. It's like it feels like you disconnect for a certain duration of time, and it's community because you're all focused on this one project.
Mhm.
You know, and being like, hey, we're executing this. This is our whole focus for this duration, a month or whatever.
Yeah.
Like everyone is there for the same goal.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
it
No, the
always feels,
filmmaking process is definitely I like. I agree. I
you know,
agree. I haven't worked on a narrative film in forever, but I remember those days on set. It's 15 to 30 to 5 days, 40 days, whatever it is, of being with the same
just
people and
yeah,
going for the same, the same going after the same goal of
yes,
making a good film
yeah,
is, I get a lot of that actually at the museum too. I mean, at the museum, there's tons of talented people, and
oh
everybody
yeah,
is moving in this direction of making the best sort of product.
yeah,
So the films that I direct there are all in accompaniment of our exhibitions.
that's true, yeah, yeah,
So so to get the exhibition and the films are part of they're part of the exhibition. So everybody's moving in the same direction to offer, museum goers the best experience,
yeah.
either at the museum, walking through the galleries or watching the films we make or, so it's very collaborative in the same way that like a narrative, like a feature film set or
It is
experience
exactly
is.
that,
Yeah.
and you know, uh, just as you speak, you think about it in terms of like for you, you're interacting with other artists from different kind of walks of life, different spaces. You have curators, you have like people who actually see art in a different way, right?
Yeah.
Because even for us, like you're studying paintings, you're studying all this, we're all adapting something from
Mhm.
somewhere or someone else, right? Like
Mhm.
for you working at the museum and also being exposed and having all this, um, is there anything that you're like, man, being here, this is like one of the few things that you appreciate about the space? Because I never saw
Mm.
it that way, but when you say it about, it is a film set,
Yeah.
because
Yeah,
all
in a
these people
way,
have
yeah.
their roles and they're all artists and they're all trying
Yeah.
to move this one piece. The
Yeah.
exhibit is basically the showcase of the film.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
But
Yeah.
is there like any lessons or anything that being around these artists
Yeah.
has helped you or shaped you as a director or
No,
as a
absolutely.
producer?
I mean, just working at a museum and being around such amazing art is really, really inspirational. I can get up from my desk and I can go look at some of the most amazing art in the world, literally in the same building,
Yeah.
you know. So sometimes I do that. Sometimes I'll walk around the museum. I'll go look at some of my favorite pieces, and So it's hugely inspirational. Yeah, hugely inspirational, definitely.
Do you have an artist that you?
Um, I Rembrandt comes to mind because of the whole like rim light, the whole like DP background and all that
Yes,
kind of deal.
yes, yes.
So so yeah, I think I think he's been a huge influence, throughout. Um, you know, I, for some of the artists that I've made films about are inspirational.
Mm,
I mean, like Botticelli, very inspirational in terms of his like approach to creating his pieces.
yeah.
Some of this is actually in the film about him. Is just the idea that it's not really a mystery how these things are made. Like when you watch a film, it's not like it's not magic how that was made. There were
No.
like 100 people that helped make that thing.
True.
And so like Sandro Botticelli, his process was similar to that. I mean, he had underdrawings, he had sketches, he was a draftsman, and all of that.
Mm,
That's how his work happened. He didn't just
yeah.
sit down at the easel and all of a sudden, oh my God, Venus
Product is
has
here. Yeah.
been
Made
made.
art. Yeah.
So so yeah. I think those kinds of things are inspirational. You find out those kinds of things about great artists throughout history, and it gives you perspective on kind of your stuff. Um, so yeah. I just find artists that I've been able to meet have been hugely inspirational. I think about like Micheline Thomas, who was in a film. The film wasn't about her. The film was about Kehinde Wiley, but I thought that Micheline Thomas was just she's just inspirational. She's a cool person, and her art is amazing. And I got to spend time with her in her studio and seeing how she works and how her stuff is laid out. And yeah, so it was a great experience. Um, yeah.
How do you move around like spaces, still being polite, but understanding that you still have to tell the story of another artist? You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Because, it's like, as an artist, the sensitivity or the vulnerability that is
Mhm.
there by letting you into this space. But
Yeah.
you as a director being able to be like, okay, moving around and still being able to get that information to tell your story. Because you always get a lot of stories where you're like, man, they should have gone in deep, man. Like you
Mhm.
were there, but being able to draw that out, but
Yeah.
still having the respect of them as an artist.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good question. I mean, I always fall back on like really listening
Mm-hmm.
to what people are saying when I ask them a question, like listening to the answer and just trying to meet the whole situation with as much genuine curiosity and as much genuine interest as possible. And I think that helps sort of navigate a lot of things. Like you can really kind of navigate where things might get too touchy and you don't kind of want to go there.
Yeah.
Or just asking good follow-up questions and having conversations that help you reach some kind of genuine response or genuine you know sound bite or genuine nugget to to help you build out a quality narrative. So yeah, I mean, I think it definitely starts with listening and research. Like it's helpful to sort of know who you're about to sit down with,
Yeah.
and have some background on who they are, and of
Yes.
course studied their work to an extent, and um, yeah, yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Um, any advice you'd give to anyone who's coming into this industry or is curious about the industry or is just getting started
In the film
in
business.
the film business?
Um, uh,
So why
Man,
is it funny,
I was
man?
gonna say, you
I
know
gotta
what?
hear this.
Yeah. Do something else. No, I'm just kidding.
The fact that you thought it and laughed. It's
Yeah.
like, why do you think they should do something else though?
I mean, it's just not, it's a tough business to, certainly if you want to be like wealthy or something and you want to like make, make money and drive cars and all this kind of thing. Um, yeah, it's a tough industry. I mean, I think if if you are, passionate about like being a barber or cutting hair or something, and you get your shop, you get your chair, and you do your thing, and you manage your money right. Key part of it, you manage your money right, and you live, close to the earth. You can be, you can make a good living and be happy and all
True.
that.
Yeah.
Where am I going with this? I don't know. I feel like, with the with
You even went to sell them to become a barber. Yeah, like just be a barber, man. Don't come in this industry.
Yeah. I guess I
I
just
get
say
where
that
you're going with it though. If
it's a
you're
tough
passionate
industry.
about this,
Yeah. And if you're
follow
passionate about
through.
it, go all out. Go all
But
out. If you
it's
want to
not
be a
an industry.
filmmaker,
It's not
yeah,
an industry that you come in and say, I'm gonna be driving the cars or
yeah.
doing all this other stuff.
Not initially.
Not
Yeah.
initially.
Yeah. Yes. Takes a lot of hard work to get there.
Creatives will chase a high, right?
Yeah.
It's the high of the next film or the product that you make and all that. Um, I
Yeah.
was waiting here because I'm curious to hear your thoughts on AI and if you're actually using
Mm.
it.
Mm.
And what do you think that is? I thought that was the reason why you're like, go find something else to do.
Yeah. 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 Go. Yeah. Go.
What are your thoughts on AI?
So, yeah, my thoughts on AI. We've been talking a lot about it in all all realms of life, and including with my kids and my family, and you and I have had some good conversations about AI. Lots of
Yes.
talk about AI at work, at the museums, and you know I think it's a tool. I think it should be looked at as a tool. I think people need to dive in and become well versed on in terms of certainly the basics, but maybe even going deeper into how these platforms work in general.
True.
Everything from prompting to Claude's got this thing called Copilot that's pretty cool,
Mm-hmm.
or Co-work that's pretty cool. Um, but it should really be looked at as a tool,
Yes.
So like the way that I use AI at work, when I'm working in general and creating, is is getting more and more extensive, and I'm exploring all kinds of things. I use a lot of AI for simple tasks too, like when I'm returning emails.
Mm.
Sometimes I'll have to return an email, and I'm just like, "Ugh," I just I just go nuts with typing, and then I just hit polish, and that task is done. I read through it. I make sure that it's actually saying what I wanted to say,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
and I'm sending that out.
Yeah.
I'm done with that, because I mean those kinds of things. I'm a creative. I like to stay have as much creative freedom as possible, and like returning emails and all that jazz is not so creative for me. So there's that. Administratively, I'm using it a lot.
Mm.
Creatively, I'm also using using AI to help me organize sort of my creative thoughts,
Mm.
and allows me to take that blank canvas in that Google Doc and write out every story idea, every little plot twist or point or little thing I want to say, or sort of sometimes I'll start off with a project. A lot of times I'll start off a project with like a thesis statement.
Mm.
What's the thesis statement for this artist or what have you? And then once I'll have all my thoughts out and I've wordsmithed it as best I can,
Mm.
I'll I'll run it through one of the I'll run it through Claude right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm using Claude a lot, uh, and I'll go back and read through that and like, okay, good. That's helping me organize my thoughts. Organize my thoughts and
Yes.
really not be bogged down with like trying to re-wordsmith something to make it more understandable for people or what have you. Uh, so yeah, so that's how creatively I'm using
Mm.
I'm using AI, and it's been fun. It's been fun, especially Claude. I find that Claude is like pretty good with like kind of story oriented stuff,
Yes.
and like when I read it back, I'm like, okay, that sounds like a human person. It's another thing I've done, and we've talked about this too. Another
Yeah.
thing that actually I should have led with this, which has been really exciting, is I took my body of work, meaning the films I've done, and my resume and 2 or 3 treatments I've written,
Perfect.
the URLs to our catalog of films, our catalog of
Mm-hmm.
films on YouTube, which is our main kind of distribution hub for our films at the museum. So I put those into a prompt, and I created an AI persona
There you
for
go.
myself.
Yeah.
So whenever I've gotten all my thoughts out, I've written all my stuff, I plug in what I've written, and I plugged in my AI persona, and it spits back essentially something that sounds and feels like me,
Yes. Yes.
and
Yes.
that's been huge. That's been like really fun, and really
Yeah.
surprising, really surprising how much it, what's being generated sort of resonates with me and feels like me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so, uh,
Yeah. Have you
so
saved
yeah.
on projects?
Say again.
So have you saved it as a project?
Yeah. So in Claude, I have different folders that I've created
Yeah. Yeah.
for different projects. So that's how I manage. Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
That's how I
Because you
manage
put
Claude.
it in there and then it opens a chat bot that is
Yeah.
specific to that.
Yeah.
That's good because if you
Yeah.
keep building on that slowly and adding and tweaking and also just letting it know the changes that you're making, it
Yeah.
keeps growing with
Yeah.
you.
Well, the
Um,
next iteration is for me to kind of do that. So I'm going to go back to my AI persona that I made in Claude, and I'm going to add the Etruscans film that launched today. So the Etruscans film, I'm going to add that
mhm.
treatment to the mix and add the URL to, well, probably the treatment, because Claude doesn't really do well with video, analyzing video. Like,
So yeah, Google Gemini
yeah, yeah.
does
So
well
that's how
with.
I started
So you go
my AI
Gemini,
persona,
you
was
pull it,
Gemini.
and then you bring it back in
Oh yeah,
to transcribe it or just break it down depending on where the video came from.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
That should be able to pull it, watch it, and listen to it, and actually translate it.
yeah,
I am curious.
yeah,
I
yeah.
think you can actually do it with Notebook LM.
And through Claude.
Just Notebook LM, you go in and then you, because you should be able to do audio. I'm not sure if Notebook LM will let you do transcripts, but I know Gemini will let.
Mm-hmm.
Gemini has a model to be able to watch videos.
Yeah,
So depending on where the source is, that becomes a resource to do it.
yeah.
Um,
That's how I built out the first AI persona is I used Gemini because it could read film,
yeah, yeah,
video.
video, and it
Yeah.
has a larger context model. At least you can be able to get more.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that's actually interesting, and probably try that because now it works really well on Claude, is you can ask it to actually ask you questions. So it's already understood yourself. It already has a context of your persona. Now you can reassign it the task of, I want to make sure we have enough context here to build this body of work. What questions would you ask me? And then we'll create a questionnaire for you that you have to kind of go through
Yeah.
and kind of correct a few things or tweak a few things as, hey, here are the questions that. So it's what you're making it turn is it's becoming your interviewer. So it's
Yeah.
interviewing you. It has context of you,
Yeah.
but there's some clarity points that it's like, okay, let me see if I can build more from here.
Yeah.
Can you just interview me?
Yeah.
and then we add this into that,
Right,
because it
right,
will
right.
spit out a transcript or a document that you can read and be like, okay, this and this don't make sense, this and this don't make sense, but you're kind of building into it. So you're
Yeah,
turning it into now asking you questions based off of it, understanding you,
yeah. I love that. I
because you
love
know
that.
yourself already, but there's some questions or some blind spots that you don't have.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll do that. I think I'll do. I think I'll add this latest film first, uh, through the transcription.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
So
then
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
all these AI tools are becoming interesting.
I like that idea. Um, yeah.
What about the
I
video
just
side? Are you using Okay, what about the video side? And then the last part I'm going to ask is, are you using any of the video audio tools, AI tools out there in any of the work that you're doing? If you can be able to
um,
share. I know there's a lot of privacy and museum stuff or any other
yeah,
projects, and it can be outside of that scope too.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So, uh, well, from an edit standpoint, like the process of editing, I've been interested in some I haven't used any yet, but interested in some platforms like Eddie,
Mm.
this thing called Eddie that you know about.
Eddie AI?
Eddie
Yeah,
AI, yeah.
yeah.
So I'm interested from the perspective of time, saving time.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be interested in using that platform to see how efficient we can make edits. Um, but at the same time, I mean, there's still no escaping, sitting
Cutting.
down and
Yeah.
cutting and like
And listening to
going
the
through
whole, yeah,
transcripts
yeah,
and like
there's no
writing
shortcut
your,
there.
yeah,
No.
there really isn't. Not if you want it to be authentic and you want to make kind of the style of films that I make, where it's like very, deep and character driven or whatever. I just don't think I'm ever going to be able to find that
I
in.
also feel like someone, like for those stories, like documentaries, someone spent their time to give you all this information
Yeah,
about them.
yeah,
I
yeah.
think
It would be
it
wrong
would
to
be
not
wrong to just
listen
be
and
like, yeah,
yeah.
just let this thing spit out someone that just, like,
It's
at
a really good
least,
point.
you know what I mean? It's
Hmm.
like, it has its place, right? Like, it has like docs that you actually know, hey, this is someone's work. And they kind of took the time to kind of pour out their heart
Yeah,
to you.
yeah,
I think spending 20 minutes listening to it so you do justice is okay.
hundred
You
percent.
can use it to understand context or build on it. I
Yeah,
think that's where I'm learning a lot of like the AI tools are good at, right? Okay, I've read this thing, I need to flesh it out a little bit, or I haven't understood much about some of the gaps,
hmm,
like feeding it into some of these tools, being like, okay, help me kind of flesh this out,
yeah, yeah,
or tighten it. Like, am I overthinking this? Those are the parts that you're coming in of like, okay, I understood the story, I like the story, but am I over processing this? How can I tighten this?
yeah, yeah,
But I
yeah.
think,
As kind of a backup to helping you find the story, I could definitely see that. Or just asking, for a simple summation could help you gain some further perspective around, the entire transcript that you've gone through.
yeah, you put it
You
well.
know, um, yeah, yeah.
Any
We've
video
been,
tools? Are you generating any AI videos?
yeah, yeah, yeah. A couple. You know, yeah, yeah. We're still going through the process of protocol and things like that in terms of the museum, trying to, really, really figure out how we can be, how we can ethically use AI.
Yeah, no, it makes sense.
Is a huge conversation right now at the museums. I mean, museums are really, really kind of a trusted place for
Yes,
people to come
yes.
and go and say, okay, we're getting the pure dope. Like we're getting the truth in here.
Mm-hmm,
Kind of
mm-hmm,
like a
mm-hmm,
library or something.
mm-hmm.
So we want to stay off. We want to stay authentic with that.
True.
So yeah, a lot of discussions around how we can make that happen.
And
So
besides that, you said you're generating a few AI. What tools are you using? Is there any tools that you're like, this is dope, or this is one to look out for in the future?
yeah, I would honestly have to say I don't know.
Mm,
I think, you know, one of my key partners in this whole get down is our editor, Sam Leanon, who lives in LA, and he's just a wizard with a lot of different things. So he puts a lot of that stuff together. So he and I, basically the way the process works between he and I is like we'll have all these discussions about, you know, what we want it to look like, and reference all manner of things, and then he will build something.
mm,
So, long story short, he's building the stuff on
mm,
whatever platform he's using, and
mm.
we haven't discussed platforms. I guess we have, but I just can't
By building,
remember.
you mean like storyboards and stuff, or building
Uh,
like?
building whatever AI generated imagery
Oh, got it.
we're
To
using.
use. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna
Um,
be.
so yeah, I think it's a question. It's going to be it's not necessarily a long road, but it warrants a lot of discussion to make sure that we're not infringing on other people's
Work.
rights and stealing people's work
That's
and
true.
all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's a big deal.
What do you see as the future of all this
Hmm.
as an artist?
Uh. Well, I really, man, it's hard to say. I mean, things are happening with with AI sort of technology just so fast that you know, it's hard to even imagine what things will look like 6 months from now,
Mm,
tomorrow, you
that's
know.
true.
Um, so I would love to see, uh, ethically, I would love to see, you know, measures put in place to secure the, you know, people's rights.
True.
So work isn't being stolen. People don't feel like work is being stolen.
True.
I think there's a huge like environmental issue that you know people don't really necessarily think about when
Mm,
it comes to like generating AI imagery or whatever. It takes a lot of power. It takes a lot of water. It takes a lot of land. You
yeah.
know, um, I mean, it's nuts. I can't even imagine what
You mean there's no
you know.
value of burning all this stuff just so you can create a talking cat?
Yeah,
No,
yeah, yeah,
environmentally.
yeah. It's like yeah, and that's another thing. Is like it's like the AI slop kind of thing. Is, you know, how do we reconcile that, and how do we like, you know, if you're making a film where you have these, you know, where you have to articulate something, you have to show something that's like happened 600, 700, 1,000 years ago,
Yes.
right? I could see how AI could be valuable,
True.
right?
True.
Because you can recreate what you imagine the world was like back then,
True.
right? Based on hieroglyphs or whatever, you know.
Context. Yeah.
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 Um, so that seems like moving in the direction of something that's more ethical, more like useful in a responsible way.
True.
But if you're just like making talking cats and like all kinds of like dumb shit, then then it's like,
It's
how
not
you
worth.
gonna like you gonna use all the water to do that and like do all? I mean, no. Uh,
I think
I don't know.
you're right. Like a lot of it is like being used, but there's no correlation, or nobody's talking about like the effects. Grok with Memphis and all that
Yeah,
issue that they're having, amount of electricity that is being used,
yeah,
amount of water that's being used to set up all these data centers.
yeah, yeah.
Um, in a way, I'm happy. Like the uh, OpenAI one, Sora. I'm glad that went away because I
Tanked.
didn't see the value of that thing.
Yeah,
I don't know if you went in. It was like just social media of AI content. So like
yeah,
there's no value to that. It's
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
but you're right. Like if you're making the things that to any filmmaker will take a lot to recreate.
Hmm.
But now with these tools, you're able to capture that time and actually use it as a tool to tell a story and help people's imagination see it, for those who, lack the imagination to actually see what that time would look like.
Yeah.
But done well, that you're not, tampering with the history.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's also true. You have to like make sure that you're authentic in that regard also. Like you're telling the truth and not, generating stuff that's lies or misleading or yeah.
Appreciate
There's the tolerance of what audiences are willing to tolerate. It's like some audiences may not want to see some AI generated crap. They may, it may be more acceptable for them to watch something that's sort of AI generated if it happened many moons ago, right? Like I was having this conversation with someone at the museum, and that seems like more palatable for audiences,
because I know there is no way this there's a reality of like, this is not possible. You are trying to get me
I
to
think the
step into this
conversation
place.
actually had a lot to do with fatigue. It had a lot to do with audience fatigue around seeing so much AI generated stuff.
It's horrible.
Like when are we going to actually like audiences may actually start to crave stuff that's real.
I think it's gonna be a genre,
Yeah.
It's gonna be like you watch slop or you watch good stuff.
Yeah.
The misinformation is also something that's fatiguing a lot of people, because it's created a lot of doubt in anything that you see.
Yeah.
You can't believe what you see anymore. It's like, wait, is this real or is this not? Like, if people are asking you that every single time,
that's a problem.
It's a problem. It's like, if I'm watching something, I'm like, I don't know if this is real. But we can all tell when it's not. There's a lot of advancements that I'm enjoying in it. But I think it's the same thing of how well it's used and why you're actually using it. Is it a tool that you're using it for, or just, messing around with people?
Yeah.
I really appreciate your time.
Yeah.
Let me say, I really appreciate your time.
It's fun.